Can I add his dad to the call? He's trying to call me back because I called him first before I called you.
Okay, so we need to help. We need to help your boyfriend now. Okay, listen carefully. Lay him flat on his back on the floor and remove anything under his head.
He is not waking up. Quick.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, you got to get him to the floor. Lay him flat on his back on the floor and remove anything under his head.
Flat on his back on the floor?
Yes, ma'am.
Help me.
What drink?
He's not here.
Yeah,
Were you able to get him to the floor?
Yes, he's not. His heart not beating or anything.
As far as the call goes, y'all think the professionalism, those people deal with a lot of trauma on a daily basis, and they have to remain professional, and they also have to make sure that they get the information right. If they get one wrong detail, or if they guess on something that they heard, could be the difference between life and death for that victim. So I know y'all are expecting like more emotion out of those people, but in those instances, they know that those calls are life and death, and they have to take it seriously, and they have to approach it with protocol, procedure, and their training to make sure that every single detail is correct, that they send and dispatch the correct people, whether it's the fire department, police department, paramedics, whoever. They have to make sure that they get it right because their job and their training depends on it. It may seem a little diabolical and, withdrawn from society and emotion and sympathy, but in that position, just like a ER doctor, they don't have no time to be getting in their emotions. They have to make sure that everything that's said on the call is conveyed exactly how they hear it, so that the right people can come, because every second counts and every minute is against that dispatcher, right? That's how they're trained. Going into the call, I completely agree with Ruth and everything that everyone else said. Sherelle, Chanel, like this stuff is crazy when you have a person that you find that is unconscious, right? Of course, they didn't know the whole defibrillator. They didn't know what an AED was. That's fine. That wouldn't have helped him anyway. It was a drug overdose. She needed Narcan in that situation, right? She needed Narcan in their house. If there's a person that has any type of opioid, drug addiction, heroin, Percocet, which is within our culture, right? All of this drug addiction and drug promotion is within our culture. That's something that we need to look at his death and be real about it. It's within all the music. You go back to Juice WRLD and his overdose. All of these rappers are overdosing on some type of opioid. Again, whether it's lean, heroin, Percocets, Oxycontins, hydrocodones, they're all opioids are opiates. We have to be real. And this, Sherelle, I watch this might be frisky. I know you from New Orleans, I'm from Baton Rouge. We know in the early 2000s, Cash Money, this started over 20 years ago with the promotion of opioids, right? It went from ecstasy and Molly, and then it quickly switched into Oxycontin with the opioid epidemic in 2000, 2001, 2002. Everybody on this panel is old enough to know that's where it comes from. And then it switched also into lean. So you got all of these things within our music culture, and it's promoted from Future. One of my, and I'm just gonna keep it 100%. One of my favorite songs, right? The Perky's Calling. I'm totally against drug culture. But we all know our favorite Future songs, our favorite music, all that stuff has drug culture plugged in and promoted within all of it. It's promoted. You know, even our favorite producers from all of our, if you 30 to 40 years old, your boy who played the keys, white boy, I forgot, I can't even think of his name right now. He Opioids, you know what I'm talking about? Who played the
You talking about Scott Storch?
Yeah, Scott Storch. All of them. It's all drug, cocaine, Molly, and opioid, lean, all of that culture. We have to be real about it. And people are dying at a younger age, and they're also making it seem like opioid is a party drug. I'm sorry, this is not the 1980s. They're not snorting pure cocaine, right? This is not a you can do it and then go to work. This is not a drug. I know people on here are familiar with Philadelphia and what's going on in zombie land out there. I lived in Philly for a while. Like opioids are over fentanyl. All of that stuff is overtaking our culture, and it doesn't care about age, but it's rampant within our music. And so I feel I'm heartbroken at a person who is so talented, and I'm landing my plane here, JR, that a person so young was taken from us, if that's the truth, because they said allegedly, right? But at the end of the day, we know within all of our music, all of the rap culture, it is prominent, even going back to our queen, Whitney Houston, right? Drug culture within the music industry.
All right, go ahead, Dara. Everybody had really good points. It's unfortunate that this happened too. This happened to anybody. It don't matter if you a regular person or hip hop artist. Don't matter. I mean, I don't want to make it about an artist. It's a human being, just like anybody else. When you do drugs, these are the things that you risk happening. You know what I'm saying? I may have become numb to it a little bit because I got a lot of family members that's currently doing it. They haven't had an overdose. I pray that that don't happen. But if it was to happen, you know what I'm saying? I really don't know how I would feel about it. So I can't imagine how his girlfriend or wife or whoever she was felt about it. So my condolences go out to the family. I mean, I don't I don't like to criticize nobody in this situation, but I do have a question. I mean, I like the way Casey kind of cleared up the frustration against people who have to deal with dispatch calls and stuff. I worked in dispatch before. I wasn't the guy, but I was a technician on equipment because I was in IT. And those people have to be calm. So she was right on all those points. Thanks for clearing that up. But I just don't understand why the part about where she went to sleep or he went to sleep on the couch and she didn't check on him until the next morning. And that's the reason why I want to kind of throw the question at y'all. I mean, y'all don't really got to answer it. I know Sherelle want to go and give her a point, but in my experience, and I could be different. Anytime I go to sleep or anytime my wife, even if I take a nap on the couch or she take a nap on the couch, I always wake her up. I always wake her up and figure out, okay, are you coming to bed? You know what I'm saying? What's going on? Are you mad at me or some shit like that? It just confuses me. Like, why didn't she never go in there and check on him? Even whenever you walk past him to go out, I'm just assuming you got to walk past the living room to go out of the front door or back door to take the kid to school. You never even once said, hey, I'm about to go. Is there anything you need? I mean, every time my wife get up, I walk her out to the car to say goodbye and stuff. Like, that's just our little thing. You know, I help her walk the kids in when she take them to the local library and stuff. So if y'all can, I mean, if y'all want to, just answer that for me. Like, has that stood out for y'all? Or is it just me? Or I'm just thinking too much into it?
Darwin, if somebody have a drug addiction, and I'm sure if he died from an overdose and he's been taking drugs for a while, then I'm sure she and friends and other people are aware of him quote unquote nodding off or being high and being in a sleep somber for however many hours as that person is coming down. What if she's used to his addiction, she's gonna see him not come to bed and leave him just where he is. I've in college and school and my environment, I'm a person who really deep dives into different culture, and I'm very aware of drug culture from having two uncles growing up with very strong addictions and seeing my mother have to navigate that, and see how she dealt with that with her brothers. It I think once you know a person's patterns and what they do, you if you still love them and you're going to deal with that person, then you step around and you adjust yourself accordingly. So him sleeping on the couch because he was high may have happened 100 times before. This may be the 101 time that he just didn't wake up. You see what I'm saying? You're talking from a healthy relationship. This situation and him was not. They weren't. He wasn't healthy. Go ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
so
Chanel.
are you saying that she may became desensitized to checking on him?
I want to.
And maybe.
Well, no,
Possibly.
she said that when she started first telling the operator, she said that he was, I don't know if she used the word hanging out, but she said he was down there and he was down there on the couch doing his thing. And she said she went upstairs, get ready for the night or whatever. She said he never came upstairs. When she woke up, she realized he never came upstairs. So she obviously fell asleep as well. And then when she came downstairs, she said she saw him on the couch. She's taking the kids to school. She said she put a blanket on them. She must have thought he was still asleep. When she came back from school, then it was like, all right, you still ain't moved yet. I can kind of
Right.
see how that happened. And, she's like, okay, he still ain't moved yet.
Right.
And then that's when she tried to touch him or
Yeah,
whatever.
and
And then that's when she realized, okay, this.
Well,
and I want to kind of piggyback on that because I'll keep it real. I fall asleep down here in the cave all the time. You know what I'm saying? My wife don't bother to come down there. If I stay down here too long, she's gonna be looking at me crazy the next day. Like, you know what I'm saying? I fall asleep, probably wake up about 1, 2 o'clock, go get my ass in the bed. I feel like, and I ain't on no drugs. I'm just saying, right?